Hello and welcome to WNC Original Music, episode 407. This week we have our returning musicians, the Pressley Girls. They are a folk Americana duo out of Brasstown, North Carolina. If you are listening to this episode contemporaneously, then I should tell you that the Pressley Girls are doing a takeover of our Facebook group, so make sure to go and look at that. That's Western NC Original Music on Facebook. We made it slightly different than WNC Original Music just to confuse people, and I really think it's working. Anyway, the Pressley Girls are going to be posting some live streams, some songs, a couple other things, and a couple things I think they haven't told me about, so I'm looking forward to that. You can find them online at thepressleyGirls.com. That's 2 S's. And also on Facebook and Instagram. And when the lockdown is over, I'm sure you can see them live. I was just looking at their website earlier, and they have a lot of shows that have been canceled, but they've still got a lot of shows planned coming up, so look for that. Here are the Pressley Girls.
Can I tell the story on this?
You sure can. Let me say this, that Corie usually, I'm not shy. I'm not a shy person at all. I never was. Mom said it was dangerous to take me to the grocery store because I'd talk to everybody.
And steal.
And maybe I stole too. Because, right, I'm very naive and gullible. So I thought it was a really good idea. No consequences there. But Corie, honest to goodness, Corie has wrote more songs than I have. And we play more of her songs. So it's really funny that we're talking about my songs here. It feels like a reverse. But Corie knows more about telling the story for this song, so she can go for Old Wooden Chairs.
I think she was
Take it
about
away.
to.
Yeah, she was, but I wanted to set her up.
Oh, okay.
So it's important that I get a little more
Sister
airtime.
support. Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel neglected.
A little bit. It's okay though.
Well, we'll talk to let Corie talk for a little bit, and then back to you.
Yeah, that's good. I like the limelight.
Okay. All right.
So Old Wooden Chairs is a song that Katie wrote. So cool little backstory behind this. It's wrote about actual wooden chairs. So it was August 5th. That's pertinent because August 5th is our mom's birthday. We were at a friend's house. She makes rustic furniture. We were helping her clean out her shop, and she's like, "Oh, thanks for helping me clean out my shop. Do you guys want to make some chairs?" And we were like, "Well, I guess. We don't know how to make chairs. You know, how are we going to do this?" She's like, "Oh, you got this. I'll help you." So we did. We ended up making like these rustic chairs. They were very rustic. They were really cool, not very comfortable, I'll be honest. But they turned out really big, and we were like, oh my gosh, how are we going to even get these home? And, you know, more importantly, where are we even going to put these things? And then we started thinking, so this is like 3 or 4 p.m. in the day, right? And then we were like, wait a minute, today's August 5th, which means it's Mom's birthday. We have not even said happy birthday, like much less got her anything. And then we were like, bingo, we're going to get her these chairs, and said, like, we worked on these for weeks, Mom, here you go.
Does your mom know this story already?
Yeah, she does.
We didn't tell her for a long time until she come to one of our
one
our
of the
shows, and
yeah.
she was like,
Oh, you told her during the show?
Yeah.
we did.
Oh man.
So
It's like Phil Collins.
Yeah, right, pretty much.
we got rid of our problem, of where we're going to put these big chairs, and also got rid of the problem of, yikes, Mom, it's your birthday, and we didn't get you anything.
Right, so our problem turned into her present, and we were pretty happy about that. Yeah,
and the wooden chairs are really cute.
It's
We
called the
still
song
have
problem to present.
Yes, yeah.
Just you can use that if you want to.
Hey, we could.
Yeah.
that's promising.
We still have, I think,
You still
one
have
of the chairs.
Yeah, one of them.
And then one of them went to our grandma. So, but one of them's on the porch.
But
That was like it was your grandma's birthday, and your mom was like,
Yes.
I forgot to get her something.
Yeah.
I got
That's
these
probably-
two wooden chairs I
yeah.
don't like. And
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
yeah, maybe, but I think one little detail we're forgetting here is, so I had been noodling around with this little tune, and it may be one of the first tunes I wrote, and you can see that it's a little bit more simplistic than some of my other stuff, but it's nonetheless really, really fun and good sturdy tune there, just like the chairs.
Stop.
So on her birthday, we brought the chairs inside. We set them in the living room. And when she walked in from the basement, it's where she parks her car, she come up the steps, and we played this song. We had this song ready for her. We played the song. She saw the chairs, and everything was great. And it was after the fact that we named the song, because we were just like, hey, Mom, we wrote you this song for your birthday and got you these chairs. And yeah, so it was good.
If I could paint a picture of you and me, I would paint a garden. If I could paint a picture of you and me, I would paint a house without walls. If I could paint a picture of you and me, I would paint the moon just half as bright as the night before. If I could paint a picture of you and me, oh, I wouldn't have to paint no more. It doesn't take long to find out time has no rhyme or reason, but still that doesn't seem to make it fair. It's strange how you can know someone for so long, but never really know them until they are gone. If I could paint a picture of you and me, I would paint a garden. If I could paint a picture of you and me, I would paint a house without walls. If I could paint a picture of you and me, I would paint the moon as half as bright as the night before. If I could paint a picture of you and me, oh, I wouldn't have to paint no more. Two shadows travel through the night, side by side, but there's only one come morning light. Distance goes hand in hand with his friend time. I guess I'll never learn that in this life. If I could paint a picture of you and me, I would paint a garden. If I could paint a picture of you and me, I would paint a house without walls. If I could paint a picture of you and me, I would paint the moon just half as bright as the night before. If I could paint a picture of you and me, oh, I wouldn't have to paint no more. Some people think going paint can capture time, but I don't really think it can. For a moment in time is but so brief, like a leaf falling from a tree. If only I knew that about you and me. If I could paint a picture of you and me, I would paint a garden. this is a song that I also wrote about a rather specific experience, but after that I realized I think more about my grandpa when I sing it. We all kind of had like a family garden because we all live real close together, and every year, we would go down and help till up the garden and help plant it, and it makes me think of him now when I sing it. It was about like a real specific experience, but it makes me think of him when I sing it, and I love it. I'll be honest, it's like one of my favorite ones I think that I've wrote. Yeah,
I think you wrote it right around the time that he passed away,
yeah.
And for me, when the very first time you let me hear it, I had no prior knowledge to what the song was about. Sometimes you share with me, oh, hey, I wrote this song about this experience. But this was not one of those times. And I come into it completely fresh. And you played it, and I remember sitting in the corner and just bawling, crying about it, because that's what it made me think of. It made me think of my grandpa and all of the times that we had together. And I don't think that this podcast would be complete without talking about our grandpa. So our grandpa, he was born in 1937. He passed away in 2016. His name was Jerry Wilson. My mother is a Wilson. My dad is a Pressley. And that's dumb. Of course he is. That's how it works.
None of my business.
You don't care, do you, Ron?
Oh, no, it's not. I don't care. I just don't want to,
No, okay, I know.
Let me go back.
Who knows where people's last names come from?
I know. Yeah. So his name's Jerry Wilson. Stop that.
What did I do?
You're laughing.
She's making me laugh.
Okay, stop.
Yeah.
He's making me laugh.
She's making me laugh.
You made me laugh first? No takesies, backsies.
Okay.
So my grandpa's name was Jerry Wilson, and that's my mom's side. That's my mom's dad. And so we were really, really close with him. Him and my grandma, who's still lived really, really close to our house. Probably I could, with my slingshot, hit her back window. So we were always there. Yes, I have a slingshot. I live in the country, Ron. We were always there. We were always hanging out. They practically helped raise us.
Stop reading my questions I've written down beforehand.
Oh,
do you have a slingshot? Yeah.
I still have one, yes. The majority of what I did was shoot marbles into the neighbor's yard. By neighbors, I mean my uncle. So it was a lot of fun. I hope he doesn't hear this. He probably wonders where the marbles come from. But
I have a feeling he knows.
He probably does know. But anyway, so we called him Pap. His name's Jerry, but we called him Pap. So Pap had 3 siblings. He had a sister and he had 2 brothers. They're all still living. He sung with one of them mainly. His name's Ray. And they played music together as the Wilson Brothers. And they traveled throughout the Southeast. They were really... I would say they were really hopping in the 60s, 70s. I mean, even the 80s and a little into the 90s. But as years got on, their health declined some. And as you get older, you develop some health problems sometimes that keep you from doing what you're able to once do. And so I spent most of my life, though, listening to their music. And 90% of the time, if there was music playing, which there was always music playing in my house, people playing music, live music, we had a big stereo. So there was all kinds of music all the time.
And they were, too, if I can cut in, they were, I would say, one of our, if not the first musical influence that we had, because they had the band, and they practiced in our basement before it was filled with junk. But they practiced in our basement, and so we were kids, and we were just always around it, and so, and we grew up in church singing, but they were like the first probably musical influence we ever had.
It may be the first music that we ever heard, probably. So just having that there, the tapes, the records, the 8-tracks, all of that stuff that was always there, it was such a comfort. I grew up with that music, and that's my pap. That's my grandpa singing. And
then he's the one who, like, taught us and passed it along. I mean, so when we used to play every Sunday with him and, our uncle at his house, he, we did that for years and years and years. I mean, he passed it on to us, so he's a ginormous, a part of what we do.
Absolutely. We were
He's
so
still
influenced.
living?
No, he passed away. He did pass away
in 2016.
3 years ago.
April 2016.
He was such an influence, and we take a lot of our inspiration. So he was such a fantastic harmony singer, and that's where Corie learned a lot of her harmony, and just he wrote a lot of songs. He probably wrote over 50 songs, and we have them, and we still sing them, and it's a treasure to have all of that old music.
Yeah.
right where we need it. It's on YouTube. We have MP3 files ripped of it. We have CDs, tapes.
Are you guys singing his songs or his songs?
Well, both.
His
really.
both.
Us
His
singing
songs,
with
him singing his songs. We have a lot of stuff on reel to reels that we've digitized and put on YouTube. But yeah, so I think that when you say that song makes you think about Pap, it makes me think about it too, and the influence, and that we would be nothing without that. And when we were kiddos and they would jam in our basement, it was desperately, we wanted to get closer to that music. So Mom would put us to bed and we would wait till she would go out of the room, and we were at that point in converted cribs, so we would be one on one wall. Yeah, 14, right? No, one on one wall, one on the other. And at that point, we're big enough to get in and out by ourselves. We don't need to be, the slats aren't there anymore. It's not a safety concern. 15 at that point. And no, so Mom, I remember this. That's probably one of the first memories that I have, and I think it stuck with me. I mean, I was probably like 4, and I think it stuck with me because of how important the music was. I was 10 at that point in my crib and my diaper. No.
4. You're 4.
I was 4. No, but honestly, what would happen is we would be put to bed, and as soon as she would go out of the room, we would jump out of the bed and into the floor and put our ears to the floor. And I just remember this desperate need to get closer. I need to get closer to that music and hear it. And I have their tapes in my car today. Yes, I drive a car that plays tapes. It's almost as old as I am. And it's just the sweetest, most comforting feeling. And when I feel upset, I go to that music. I listen to it. And it's a very Appalachian thing.
And it's generational.
Yeah.
Generational, too, because his daddy played music, then he did, then
his son did.
Then his son,
and we did. So
did.
We're several generations down the line. And it's special. It's a blessing from God. And I would not trade it for anything in this world. All my memories and all that music is worth its weight in gold to me. Mm-hmm. And I can't claim all of this as my own. I'm a spiritual person anyway, so I have to thank God first. But after that, I can't claim that I just woke up with this one day. It was definitely my grandpa. It's definitely him. So kudos to you, Pap.
Oh, that's really sweet. Have you guys ever thought about putting out a CD of his songs with you doing them?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have thought some of it, and we have a couple CDs, or I should say, Pap and Paul do of his songs. So
yeah, Paul being Pap's son,
and then he's got a lot of stuff that they were working on when Pap passed away that he's got recorded. So I think he's still working on some of that as well.
Yeah, but I think it would be cool. We do sing some of the songs that they sang, not necessarily ones that he wrote, but we do. There might be one or two that we sing that he wrote.
Yeah, and Paul does a lot.
His son, yeah.
Uncle
So,
Paul.
Yeah, so when we go places, if it's not just Corie and I, it's usually our uncle, which would be my mom's brother, Paul, and then my mother, Tipper. And she plays the bass. Paul plays lead guitar. Paul can play anything. He also sings some lead vocals and some harmony stuff as well. And so he will usually sing some of Pap's music. So we kind of have a little band. We call ourselves the Presley Girls, but we always joke that Mom's a Presley girl, right? She's Presley Mom. But sometimes we say that Paul's a Presley girl wannabe. And he'll come along and he'll sing some of Pap's songs. So good point, Ron. I think that's something as we move to the future that we want to get back to, is just incorporating more of his written songs, not just some of the great ones that covers that he sang,
Just because you know where you're from doesn't mean you know where you're going. I guess my dreams are too big for this small town. I gotta run, I gotta go, I gotta see where the wind blows. I gotta get out of here. I gotta follow my dreams, even if they're not meant to be. I gotta run, I gotta go,
goes. That's one that I wrote. It's probably been 5, 6, 7 years ago, I would
Quite a
say.
while back, yeah.
And the story behind that is it started with first just a little bit of melody, just kind of like, bass note type stuff. And I was sitting in my room one day doing it, and my mom walked by the hallway, and she's like, "Oh, what's that?" And I was like, "I don't know. I don't like this. I'm ditching it. I'm not going to do this." And she's like, No. I like that. You should try to stick with it." And I thought, well, okay. And I kind of stuck with that, and it started first, and I liked that. And then eventually I wrote the words to it, and I can't remember if I wrote them right then or if it was like a couple days later. Yeah, and I'm trying to get back and think about what inspired me to write that. I guess just the feeling of not wanting to be pinned down maybe to a specific area, or maybe even just specific place in your life. I always want to be able to grow and evolve and move and change. I don't want to get stuck somewhere, and I think that's a good song.
I think that's a great way to put it. Not being stuck in a specific time, a window of time. Mm-hmm.
More from the Presley Girls in just a few moments. I want to remind you can find them at thepresleygirls.com. They have a lot of music out. Not a lot, but they have one CD and a couple other songs out. And you can buy their physical CDs or download their music on Bandcamp. And as I mentioned, you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. Especially on Facebook, they have a lot of funny videos they put out. And they have a YouTube channel that will be in the show notes that you should really check out. It's kind of funny. Also, go and subscribe to the podcast. That's WNC Original Music, wherever you get your podcast. And also follow WNC Original Music on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And also, go check out our new group. That's Western NC Original Music on Facebook. Made it just a little bit different to make it just a little confusing. And don't forget to go and download, listen, stream all of our guest music and your local independent musicians' music. Right now, it's kind of hard on independent musicians because they can't play live, and that's where they make most of their money. So anyone go and find their social media, find their websites, and go and listen to and download their music.
Hi, this is Austin from Cardboard Box Colony. You're listening to WNC Original Music.
You should clap on beat 3. 1,
beat 3?
2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Really?
I would.
Okay, so everybody knows you're supposed to clap on a 2 and a 4, unless you're like, if you're cool, you clap on 2 and 4. If you're not, you clap on the 1 and 3. Right?
Yeah. Well, if
a waltz, I think the 3 and the 1. I think
it would be. Yeah, it would be, because you don't have 2 and 4, because you only have 3, 4. Yeah, that's probably what I would do. Or for those who can't manage that,
I'm gonna clap on the 3 and the 1. You clap on the 2, and you clap on the 1 and the 2. Okay. That's wrong. I'm clapping on the 3 and the 1. Okay, forget it. That's a bad experience.
Hey, when I go to ride a waltz to make sure it is in 3/4 time, I waltz while I play it.
You waltz? Oh, that's good.
I do, and then I'm sure that I'm not doing anything funky. Yeah.
Can't count to 3, huh?
No, I can't.
Okay.
I can't. I don't know how I got here either.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know. Well, you only had to count 1, 2.
Right.
There's
only 2
of us. If you were
triplets,
you probably know how to count to 3.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. All right. I'll cut all that out.
That little girl playing under the tree, she's you. And that little boy swinging on the swing, he's you too. Time moves so fast, will you ever find them again? Or will time erase the memories of where you've been? Don't let the doubts of life steer you off track.
Little Boy on the Swing is a song that I wrote right after I got out of college, because I was like scared about where I was going next and what I was going to do. And I think anyone can have that moment of like, what's next? What am I really wanting to do? You know, you don't have to just be getting out of college to feel that. You can be 40 years old and be like, I really don't like what I'm doing. I want to do something else, Yeah. I think that's totally a normal thing. But
I do that at 30.
Hey, yeah, exactly. But also, it just makes me think back about my childhood. When you're a kid, you don't worry about anything. And time, I heard someone once say that time's like a window. You're always in a window of time, and, you should enjoy every window, because you may be in a window and you're thinking, oh man, I really don't like this. This is not good. But then you're going to look back and be like, in some ways you'll always be able to look back and say, oh man, if I could only go back to that. It's like when you're a kid, you don't realize how good you've got it. You're a kid, mom and daddy take care of everything. You just do homework, play around, that's it. And, then you get out of college and you're hunting for a job, and that's so what you wanted was to grow up, and then everybody's telling. But when you're a kid, everybody's telling you really need to enjoy this, because there's nothing better than being a kid and not having like no responsibility. But you're thinking, oh my gosh, forget that, I just want to be an adult. And then you get to that, and then I don't know about anyone else, but like this whole adulting thing really sucks sometimes. So for me, I'm like, man, I tell you what, if I could just go back and be a kid for one day and enjoy it. But the song is somewhat a reflection of that, but it's a reflection too of like not losing that like
the innocence.
Yeah, the innocence, but also like the imagination, the creativity, like not losing that spark that you have when you're a kid of always wanting to like grow and learn and have adventure. Things do get harder in life as you get older. You have more responsibility, but I think it's like a lot about not losing that spark.
Yeah, I mean, it's so reminiscent, and that is exactly what I see when I work in the school system with the kiddos.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah, I do. I see that just spark of excitement and wanting to grow and curious and learn, and that's true, Corie. You only have the time you have, and
yeah,
and what you're going to do with that, and how you're going to make the best of it.
Time's always moving forward, and it's easy to say, well, I'll be happy when this, if that, and that's not true.
Conditional.
Happiness does not really actually come from external circumstances. It's all on the inside,
Yep, you can't place conditions.
Anyways, that's a story for a different time.
Yep, you can't place conditions on your happiness. We're learning that, right? Kiddos don't have to learn those type of things.
No, they don't. They lack that part of their brain.
They're born happy.
Yeah, they're born happy.
And hopefully you don't have it stripped away from them.
Yeah.
Like we have.
Oh, it's so
Gone
hard,
for us.
ain't it? So a morning in March could not be more literal for me. A morning in March, I wrote this tune and named it that. And spring was around the corner. Spring was coming on, and it was still cold, but it was warming up, and there was kind of that excitement of like, spring is coming, summer is coming, kind of the turn of a new season. And so I wrote a tune that kind of matched how I felt about that. It's kind of hippity hoppy, upbeat, just thinking about like, yeah, I mean, it's right now it's a morning in March, but it will soon be a morning in June, hotter than bloody hell. So, yeah, I mean, I think
April and May can suck it.
Yeah,
Skip right over.
that's right.
Wait, see, I'll take that out. I can say whatever I want. I just take it away.
Right.
Yeah.
No. So yeah, I think I was feeling happy. I was feeling excited, and I was just looking for something upbeat, and that kind of worked itself out. And sometimes I take the easy way out and name my tunes after some very literal things. And then other times I name them after the emotion that I felt when I was writing it. If I write the tune for a specific memorial reason or a person, but that one was pretty straightforward. So.
How much are you guys writing songs together versus, because you've talked about, I wrote this song, but some of it you write together, it seems like, or no, or you write
some of it. I would say we write more individually. However, I do think we're starting to write more together, but we definitely always write together in the sense of, like, if Katie writes a fiddle tune, she doesn't play rhythm, so she doesn't really, she'll have to come to me and say, like, well, wait a minute, what key is this in? Can you help me work this out to where it's like, A, A, B, B, to where it makes sense. But we do...
We have wrote a few songs, like actually composed some lyrical.
Yeah, together. But we're starting to do that more. But a lot of it's just kind of been individual.
It has, yeah. And it's the same goes with that. If Corie wants the melody part, she consults me. Or if I write words, again, I'm not a rhythm player. So I'll have a tune in my head. I'll hum it. I'll record it.
Yeah.
I'll take it to her, and she'll help me put the chords to it. But I think because we are twins, so much of... Which, hey, I really wouldn't have it any other way, but so much of our lives is grouped together under one identity. And I think...
In some ways, yeah.
In some ways. And I think as we've gotten older, especially, that's not a problem. But I think some of it might have been born out of just like I want to have my own voice and my own say-so, my own kind of side of things. And so I write my music that I'm feeling. And, I think... Not that I don't want to write songs with other people, but for me, sometimes songwriting is so personal, and it's a mode of healing for me. It's where I go when I'm nervous or I'm anxious, and it's such a private, personal thing. I think I wouldn't have a problem writing a song with someone else, but it really is a private, personal thing for me. So I think it's a little bit of that, and just wanting my own individual expression. Not that I don't love you over there, but I do like to have my own identity.
I could tell that's what she was thinking.
Yeah. So
I guess you don't love me.
Yeah, but who knows? These things just happen. I mean,
yeah,
just happen to evolve, and then you look at them and question them, and you're like, how did it evolve like this? And sometimes there's answers, and other times there's not.
All right, that's it for part 2 of the Presley Girls. I want to remind you to check out their music at thepressleyGirls.com. That's got a lot of links there to other places, but also look for them on Facebook and Instagram, and also on Etsy, where you can buy some pretty cool merchandise from them, including their CD. You can also find them now at Bandcamp, so we'll put a link to that in the show notes as well. They are doing a takeover of the Western NC Original Music group this week, separate from the page. That's on Facebook, and they're doing some fun videos and a few other things up there, so go and check that out as well. Even if you're hearing this in the distant future, just scroll way back on Facebook to May of 2020. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast if this is your first time hearing it. I really hope you like it. You can subscribe just about anywhere you get podcasts. Just look for WNC Original Music, and you can ask your smart speaker to play the podcast. Just say whatever your smart speaker's name is, play podcast WNC Original. You don't even have to say music. It just knows. It reads your mind. They're in your head. Also, follow WNC Original Music on Facebook, Instagram, everywhere else, and look for that group. That's Western NC Original Music. Usually for our closing song, we have someone not from Western North Carolina, but we're making an exception. This week, we have award-winning fiddler, singer, and songwriter Carly Arrowwood, who is from Western North Carolina. She plays Americana and folk music, but she has classical training, so that produces a unique style. She has toured all over the country and in Europe, and her new single, Dear Juliana, is out now, available for download and streaming, and also you're about to hear it right now. She was nice enough to send it along. We appreciate that. Here is Carly Arrowwood. Have a good week.
Dear Juliana, welcome to this big world. I'm so glad the Lord made you our baby girl. You're such a pretty thing, and your smile warms my heart. Just don't grow up too fast, 'cause you fit perfect in my arms. Red hair, blue eyes, sweet as can be. Precious moments, forever I will be by your side. I'm looking forward to this ride, dear Juliana. My Juliana, how are you 2 years old? Time will fly much faster now, so I've been told. You love the raindrops, and you know your ABCs, but your favorite one of all is Jesus loves me. Kitchen dances in your mama's shoes. Innocent means nothing more than you. Look at you go. Your daddy loves you so, dear Juliana. And oh, how you laugh so sweet, like the rhythm of a happy fiddle tune. And oh, the patter of your feet is a melody that breaks my heart in two. Sweet Juliana, now we're standing face to face. It's so beautiful to watch you grow in grace. Always remember, I'll hold you in my heart. No matter where you are, you'll still fit perfect in my arms.
This is Batman, and you're listening to WNC Original Music.